Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our second session. Egg on our face, we did not read the fine print of the fine print, and we did something that was against the they cut off the first part of the stream. So we had a good laugh about it later. Yeah, we'll just have to make sure we have the right content while we are still not going against the YouTube streaming policies. And streaming policies are a little bit different from the recording policies. So we just need to make sure that we kind of know what we can and cannot do in videos. In particular, we're not supposed to be showing any firearms or have showing them being transported in the live. Yeah, so welcome to the second session. It's November 6th, and we have a lot more to talk about than we're going to be able to fit in this session. I will try not to speak too fast because I got a lot of information to share, and we'll hopefully be able to keep it under sort of a 30 minutes, like last time. So let's start with what's new this week. We have received finally our shipment from Eemantech, and we have a good stock and very good selection of all sorts of pistol parts and goodies. So all the way from pins and trigger springs to spring kits, slide stops, all the kind of natural stuff that you need to do the kind of first steps towards upgrading. In particular, some of the most common things are changing kind of the spring weight for the recoil or trigger spring weight and things like that. So check it out. It's all up on our website already. And these items will be coming in. Handguns are sales of handguns are frozen, but we can still sell parts and bring parts in, so that's good. We also got some cadet kits. For those of you not familiar what cadet kits are, if you have newer generation of the CZ pistols, so any of the CZ75 series, so SPO1 generation, or Shadow 2 or PO9, you can get an upper that converts it to a 22. So it comes with a couple mags and basically upper that allows you to switch it to a small bore pistol, which is quite appealing. Considering the cost of the 9mm ammunition, and also it's just a little bit easier to shoot if you don't like that recoil, and of course different ranges have different kind of rules, so there might be reason to shoot 22 rather than 9mm, say. We also got some Ely Remington match ammunition. We're still able to source some, but that stuff is eventually going to dry up as the production of that is finished. So what's new and coming in this week? We are getting some SIG 9mm ammunition. 124 grain that is currently one of our favorite 9mm ammo. It's priced quite well, quite competitively, and it's very clean. The brass is good to reload, so if you're kind of on a fence whether to just get some loaded ammo, some loaded cartridges and reuse the brass, SIG is definitely one of the better options in our opinion. The other thing that's coming in this week is we're getting some more Lapua components, and we're going to talk about Lapua quite a bit this session. This is probably going to be a big elephant in the room to talk about, because Lapua made a bit of a bombshell announcement this week. It came as a surprise to us, and came as a surprise to kind of all of us in the industry. But we kind of digested it now a little bit, and so we can talk about what is happening. So what is it that is happening with Lapua? Well, there was a notice that seemed to have leaked in the U.S. websites and some of the forums and chats about Lapua switching its production of the cases, so production of the brass. In particular, it seems to be halting production of some of the quite actually fairly long list of the reloading cases from Lapua. Now, why is this big deal? Why is it not a big deal? Let's spend a couple minutes talking about this. So list is quite long. We're going to include this in our newsletter. So if you're not receiving our newsletter, it's a good idea to subscribe. We'll send a complete list of what are the products that are impacted, and what is actually Lapua doing. So before we jump into what products are affected, let's kind of dissect a little bit what's happening. So everybody knows that the world is not really a normal place right now. There's lots of strange things that have been happening the last couple of years, and on top of that, we have a war in Europe. So that's consuming a lot of similar products that we're using. So cases, projectiles, loaded ammunition, of course, and but also it's straining the supply chain, and in particular, European. A lot of European militaries are ramping up their orders for supplying their own military. So, of course, ammunition is part of it, which means Lapua being one of the major European manufacturers of the ammunition, there would have a quite large demand on their products as well. And given that there is a lot of demand on the Lapua products, obviously they need to kind of rethink how they're doing their production. So what they have announced is a reduction in the number of cases or brass products that they're going to be offering. In particular, looks like lots of small primer cases and some of the larger cases as well. A lot of products in there. I mean, just looking at the list, things like 8x57 IS and 8x57 IRS. Most people in North America don't really care about that. I'd even venture to say that a lot of people never heard of those. There's things like 7x65R or 7x62x53 3R. Not the most popular and common cartridge in North America, so that's not going to be a huge impact. What is going to be a huge impact? There's a couple of things on the list that are kind of raising eyebrows for a lot of competitive shooters. So 284 Winchester is there, 308 Winchester, 308 Palma brass, and we'll come back and talk about Palma brass a little bit. 22 250, 222 Remington. And maybe 7 mil 08 in terms of the things that are a little bit surprising on the list. 6mm Creedmoor is there as well. 6mm Creedmoor, some people are kind of surprised that Lapua was kind of halting the production on it. But 6mm Creedmoor, kind of the hype might be over, so it might not be as big of an impact. And we'll talk about that when we have a session on calibers, what's going on in the caliber world. But the one that we were kind of surprised and disappointed about is the Palma brass. That's a small primer 308 brass, which is quite popular for a lot of competition shooters. large percentage of F-class shooters use the 308 polymer brass exclusively, and they're able to run the pressures that they need to push those heavier projectiles, and the that's going to be a little bit of a problem for somebody who's, say, trying to compete in the next couple of years, and they need to have a brass through. So our advice, just to take away from this, if you are competition shooter and one of these calibers that I mentioned, and I'm not sure if I'm allowed to post this list in the comments, but it will be definitely now newsletter. Um, if one of these cases is something that you need to use, and you know kind of what you're going to need for the next couple of years, it might be a good idea to build in a little bit of buffer for yourself. Now, Lapua didn't say they are stopping production of these; they're discontinuing. So that's not the case. No pun intended. They are halting the production until they update their facility. So obviously, what they're doing is they are focusing on the core cartridges and the core production. So 223, 308, and some of the larger Magnum calibers. There's probably lots of demand for 3.3 Lapua ammunition as well. So what we think is happening, and what we hope is going to happen, is that maybe we'll finally be able to get some 223 brass in, because we'll be able to get some of these other products in, but we haven't been able to have 223 brass on the shelf. And let's face it, 223 is one of the most, if not the most, popular caliber. So we really hope that this is going to help us get us some of the other products that are harder to get. So that being said, what's going to happen now? Does this mean that I want to kind of actually address a couple of rumors. I've seen some posts, and Lapua has been making announcements about those. Lapua is not getting out of civilian market. That's absolutely not true. And Lapua has been disputing that. And if they were doing that, they wouldn't keep sponsoring shooters internationally. They sponsor quite a few shooters, and that's all over their social media. So I don't believe that's the case. The other comments that Lapua is kind of getting out of the competition market, I don't also think that's true. Like, that's kind of Lapua's main game, and kind of high end quality product is kind of where Lapua is as a company trying to position itself. So I don't think they're going to go away. Also, when Lapua discontinues product, they are pretty upfront about it. It doesn't come sort of as a surprise. So if they were discontinuing these products, they would kind of just tell us. They wouldn't just go and make this announcement. What we think is they kind of sat down and made a hard business decision, and prioritize their production in order to be able to meet demand in the best possible way. So obviously they can't meet entire demand, but they ran the numbers and they're trying to meet most of the demand. This has already happened to some other companies. I'm not going to name any of the names, but if you have been kind of following what's been happening, there's lots of other companies that have had shortages, and some of the products have been hard to get, and they've kind of done similar prioritization of what to manufacture in order kind of to meet the largest chunk of their demand. What that really means is that some of the products that are not as popular, maybe not core products, and end up suffering. So, I mean, you guys remember a lot over the last couple of years, there's been some of the things that are very hard to get. I mean, 17 HMR ammunition has been very difficult, very difficult to get at some periods, and I think that's going to kind of continue happening until the industry restabilizes itself. How about the availability of these? Are we like, is this brass kind of gone, and are we not going to see it again? Most of the things on the list are still available. We have most of these products actually in stock. Our distributor has still some available, and we believe that for those kind of that are consuming this, it's not going to be a colossal impact, except for those couple of ones that I mentioned. So I think 308 Palma is going to be a very hot ticket, and we don't have any. If we do get any, we will announce it, and we've been trying to source some more. But if you need 308 Palma brass and you find some, get it. And I'm expecting that we'll probably see a price increase from the market as there's more demand. People are going to try to capitalize on the shortages as it always is. So that's the thing about Lapua. And we're getting now, what are we getting this week? We're going to be getting some more projectiles in. We're going to be getting some brass in. We have a pretty good, actually. We were just recently restocked with brass, so most of these things we do have right now. So we're not we were not hugely surprised, not a surprise, but we're not kind of like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. So yes, the announcement was a bit shocking. It was unexpected, but it's I think it's just a regular kind of move by the companies trying to kind of optimize their production and kind of focus on what the market demands are. So what else is coming this week? I wanted to mention something else. Now I was too excited about Lapua. So the other thing I wanted to mention is since we're talking about reloading components, we're a little bit late on the game because this was not just announced. It's been a couple of weeks now, but Hornady has announced a couple of really interesting things. The two things that we wanted to bring up is the 7mm PRC. Now, this is going to be a very interesting cartridge for hunters primarily. It is kind of put together as as a well, I'm not going to call it ultimate hunting cartridge because that's an easy way to get in trouble. But there's been quite a bit of buzz about it. We knew he was coming. I think Hornady kind of took it, tried to kind of put another sort of PRC type cartridge on the market that's meeting kind of that segment of the especially of the hunting market. Is it going to really affect competition market? We'll see, but there are cartridges that perform just as well or better depending on what it's needed for. However, in terms of the North American hunting, I think I think we're going to see quite a bit of interest around it. You can pack fairly heavy 185 up to 185 grain projectiles in it, and Hornady is going to be putting, I believe, 165, 175, 185, if my memory serves me right. So they're going to have a good offering right out of the gates, and as it is kind of now expected with Hornady's new cartridges, they have quite a long list of rifle manufacturers that are on board to chamber it in their factory rifles, which is what kind of makes the Hornady new calibers quite successful. I mean, this is why 6.5 Creedmoor and 6.5 PRC and all of these did so well, not just because they're really good cartridges, but also that they because of kind of Hornady's cooperation with the rifle manufacturers. They were kind of chambered right from the start in the new rifles, so you were able to get off-the-shelf rifles in those new calibers. The another interesting announcement, and I think we'll probably come back to this later, was their 25 caliber. I believe it's 125 grain. 125, 135. Now, don't quote me on this one. And they're kind of trying to bridge that gap between 6mm and 6.5mm competition cartridge, and the way that they're kind of putting it, they're getting the performance, ballistic performance of 6.5 mil, but they're getting the light, softer recoil of the 6 mil. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, it is 25 caliber. That is, I think that's definitely going to be a bit of a niche niche cartridge, given that 25 is not a first thing that you think about when you talk about modern cartridges. So we'll see. We'll see kind of where that ends up. And also there's more CX bullet calibers, sizes of the calibers and sizes of the projectiles that have been announced, as well as some reloading tools. I think there's a new scale, new precision scale that looks pretty interesting. We'll check those at SHOT Show and see how good that is. I wanted to also give an update on the transfers. Looks like the restricted transfers are have been restarted. I believe what happened is as the kind of freeze came in, I think the staff just needed to be retrained and catch up with the changes to the legislation. And looks like the transfers have been put back onto kind of regular pace. They have been coming in at a fairly good rate this week. For us, based on what we have left, if continues at this rate, we're probably looking at least another 10 weeks before they go through everything. Just for example, Ontario is now at mid-June. That's kind of what they're processing. So if you're waiting for a transfer, and kind of if you know the dates, if your transfer was initiated in July, you probably it's going to be at least another couple of weeks, depending how fast the CFO offices can go through this. Now, let me just see if there's any questions. There is we going to I wanted to also mention a couple of planned sessions that we have, a little bit more dedicated to kind of certain topics. I have a couple of them lined up. Post the comments if there's something specific that you would like us to talk about. We're going to definitely have a session on the small bore ammunition. We're going to have a session on eyewear and general kind of eye care for the shooters. What we think is, we'd like to share kind of what is important. And we're planning to do some sessions on scope selection. I know there's a lot of them out there, but we're going to focus on some of the topics that we believe have not been covered elsewhere. And we'll have some then more focused sessions on sort of selecting the right products. We'll talk about things like how do you select a shooting jacket and shooting glove size, how you set up positions and all of that. So hopefully we'll have those out fairly soon, and kind of gives you guys something to something to look over and help you out with some of the information that that at least we feel is commonly being requested from us. I wanted to share a couple of products that I think are interesting, especially now that we're getting sort of towards the end of the shooting season. So first, I'd like to, for those of you that still read books, for I don't want to say, oh, younger generation doesn't read books, but I know everything's now, watch a YouTube video, and there's a blog about it. If you're looking for something to help you with a mental management of the shooting game, so the book is Mental Training in Shooting. This is probably one of the easiest to access in terms of the way it's written. It's quite practical. There's lots of other books available, lots of other literature on sports psychology and general mental aspect in shooting, but they get a little bit more deeper into it. I believe this is a very good book for all the shooters of all the levels. It makes a good Christmas gift. or gift for any shooter, and definitely a good addition to a shooter's library. The other thing, and we're going to have a session just on these, but I just want to show a pair of Omegas. These are not my pairs. These are the ones that new ones out of the box. And I picked out Omegas. I have a large head. If you're somebody that has a wider head, Omega is definitely a good model. But I wanted to talk about a little bit of Wiley X, and the all of the Wiley X products that we carry. They use what they call ballistic lenses, which means that they meet all the range standards. So they will be much better than your dollar store or whatever cheap kind of $10 glasses. They actually meet the military standard as well. There's a lot of militaries and law enforcement agencies that use these. And what makes them interesting is that you can just basically take these and wear them at the range. That's what I do if we're shooting. Say if you go shooting a handgun outdoors, I just keep my pair on, because I have prescription lenses in there, and they're safety glasses, so I don't need to worry about having any special eye protection that I might or might not forget. If you need some assistance with choosing the size, or if you think about putting prescription lenses in it, contact us and we'll be more than happy to answer. These in particular come with a hard kind of zip-up carrying case as well. And the last, but not to least, it is coming to the time of the year where our stuff might be sitting in the whatever it sits in over the winter, perhaps safe, locked up case, whatever it is. Now is a good time to kind of think about, even if you're not regimented cleaner rifle. If you don't clean your rifle on a regular basis, now it's a good time to kind of give it a good scrub and give it a coat of grease or oil, whatever you prefer, and kind of, if you're storing it for the winter, just to protect it from rust and exposure to whatever, even the dust particles and things like that. So Ballistol Universal Oil, it's definitely one of our favorite cleaning products, just because you can really use it for everything. It is food safe. It's safe on the skin. If you ingest it, it's non-toxic. Don't cook your eggs on it. It's not that kind of oil, but it's very safe to use. It's safe on animals. So if it spills, you don't need to worry where you're going to put the patches on and anything like that. It's actually also, if you have small mechanical parts, it's good for lubrication. So if you have a sewing machine, some of the modern sewing machines don't need lubrication, but this is very, very good to use. Comes with a little spray nozzle as well, if you kind of need to just give it a little squirt in a particular spot. So if you're kind of looking to have a one can of product for your gun care stuff, Ballistol is definitely very easy for us to recommend. Comes in a number of different formats. Kind of these little guys that just kind of put them in the pocket, 200 ml, and comes into larger jugs as well. I have these in kind of in each one of my shooting bags, and this is what we use to if you're handling any firearms, to wipe it off from the fingerprints and whatnot. Very easy to use. Has a special smell. You're either going to love it or hate it, but that's kind of like that with all the gun gear products. How to get in touch with us? Certainly you can comment on the videos in the channel. www.tesro.ca is the easiest way. That's our website. You have a contact forms there. Email, phone number are displayed. We do send a Tesro Tuesday newsletters every Tuesday. Highly recommended to subscribe. That's where we can announce all the new products and updates as well. A lot of this similar information is going to be in it, with the links to the products that we cannot post on the videos. Email is always good, info@tesro.ca, info@tesro.ca. And you can reach us on the phone, 613-729-8059. And look at that, we're just right on time. So thanks everyone for tuning in. And hopefully you are enjoying this wonderful beginning of November, at least here in this part of the country, and maybe made it to the range this weekend. So have a good evening, have a good rest of the Sunday, and we'll until next time.